La 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 le 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 lo 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 la 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 la
Yo,
yo
New York! Yo, those Babosos are in the house. We got 2 out of 3. That'll have to be good enough for you guys. For now, we'll be back with a full episode, but we just want to bring you a few thoughts on the Blue Beetle movie.
The Blue Beetle movie.
It was hot.
Fire.
Bro,
It was.
Want to kick it off? Your thoughts?
Shit, dude. It was fantastic. It was such a great change of pace for the DC universe. And like honestly, you know, not being the biggest fan of the DC universe, like I feel like this movie had something that the other movies has been missing.
Yeah, what is that?
Heart. Heart! We haven't seen movies with heart in years now. And this movie has it in spades.
Like,
would you agree?
Yeah, the new Shazam movie, like they tried to do a little bit of that with like the foster family and the siblings, and like they kind of focused it in on like it's just the one Shazam who's fighting for his family, whereas this, it was like, no, the whole family is the squad. Like instead of having like a bunch of Blue Beetle knockoff characters, you had the one Blue Beetle who was in the center, but then like all the family, like they had their own contribution, whether it was George Lopez being like the tech genius conspiracy guy, or Grandma just being a psycho with the railgun,
or the Pops, you know, or
Pops with the motivation,
the sister with the love and the groundedness of the character. You know, I think it was important to see a superhero movie where the superhero support system it steals the show, is the star of the show, I feel like.
Yeah.
The whole movie. You look at every single superhero franchise, and they talk about family as this kind of like disjointed thing, right? Like something ephemeral, not only like in their whole fucking thing.
It's always some type of carga.
Yeah, it's always rather a weight than like a source of strength and like motivation.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful. I know that sounds cheesy, but I think it's really cool to see a movie that leans into that in a way that's sorry to interrupt. In a way that's cheesy, but like also takes jab at that cheesiness, you know, because the concept inherently is cheesy if you're trying to do like a feel-good kind of like Latino movie, you know, or else it feels like pandering.
Yeah, they kind of leaned into the stereotypes, like knowing that if they lean in too hard, they're gonna get flack for it. And this is where I think George Lopez is invaluable.
Absolutely.
You look at the Xolo show, he had the longest running sitcom on the network television with an all-Latino cast until they were replaced by the Geico Caveman show. But the formula was, do not bring me any Mexican jokes or you will be fired. Bring me family-friendly sitcom jokes, and I'll put the tamales in the oven. Like that's my job. And so this movie had like a relatable underdog story that emphasized like the power of family and coming together and like sacrificing for one another, and like you know, now is not the time to cry, now is the time to be strong. All that is relatable. And then you have, you know, Xolo kind of throwing in the clown routine, but doing it in a way
that's authentic.
That, made you smile because you know what, you have an uncle like that.
Yeah, or like you said those jokes, or you know, like you said those phrases, or like it's just something random, you know, like even the sad moments, you know. I think not only because obviously sadness can bring a lot of us together, right? Like grief, pain, whatever.
It didn't feel that forced.
But it didn't feel forced. It was realistic.
Yeah, like when
and
the
it
kid
was like,
goes out and he's angry and he's like, yo, let me go talk to him. Like,
yeah.
Mijo, like I know you're sad, but like, you know, like we come from strong stock, and it was like they hit a bunch of like stereotypical notes, but at the same time, like in that moment, like the delivery was earnest. Like you could tell, like Xolo was channeling his.
Well, he lived. Well, he's lived in the valley, growing in San Fernando Valley, growing up. You know, like I don't think it did a disservice to like the reality that certain experiences are both goofy and like not. You know, that they can be goofy but also sincere, and like it doesn't always have to. You can find the comedy in a lot of things, you know.
So like, there's this big thing about like diversity and representation in Hollywood, and I think Disney does a great job of like just diversity, like the diversity hires. Like we were talking about the Snow White, like the Snow White and the 7 diversity hires, versus like this felt like representation. Like I felt like I said, you might have an uncle like that, you know, who embodies the Xolo character. Like so it's not just a dirty stereotype. It is like somewhat or representation of real life, like as art.
And even in grief or like negative situations, you know, like it's not talked about, but you know, during the 2008 financial crisis, a lot of families were losing their home.
Yeah,
precisely, and a lot of.
First one to go to college, he's supposed to be the one, the weight's on him, and it's not that easy once you get out there because you're still just another brownie, and that's how he's treated on the job.
And more importantly than that, you come back, and even if you try to participate in the systems that, you know, help create you, you can't participate in those systems, you know? Like you said, you're denied a job, you're denied an opportunity.
The Susan Sarandons, the Hillary Clintons of the world who are going around fixing it themselves, and they have their own vision of how to do it, and you are not a part of it. And yeah, this movie shows that, you know what, if, you know, you do get the opportunity, you know, it might not be a scarab on your back, but like, let's say you do get an education, let's say you do land a job that you didn't think you were ever going to get, and all of a sudden, like, you're put on stage to do something. Like, you can live up to whatever expectation you create for yourself. Like, you can go beyond like a stereotype or a limiting belief that you have upon yourself, that like imposter syndrome that he struggled with until the very end. He was like, yo, Scarab, I accept you. Let's go kick the ass. Oh, you know.
And it was almost like, and it's almost like it wasn't even just strictly about imposter syndrome. Like it's about.
It's okay, Raul. I got it from here. Representation. We talked about it. We talked about the lack of representation. This was it. We finally got some brown on the big screen, and who better to do it than the Blue Beetle movie. I loved it just simply because of that, story-wise and everything. Hey, to see El Chapulín Colorado finally in the big screen, not only is it like long overdue, he was the first superhero actually. So to have him, that was a nice Easter egg there. I love the movie. I loved it. Simply the representation alone, right? Can we make it better? Of course we can. But am I okay with it? Yes, I am. It was fun. It was funny. Even though it was 2 hours, it went by quick. And yeah, I think there was some good acting. It left me hanging out for more. So I hope they end up doing 2 and 3. And overall, I hope that it does connect to this brand new universe that's being introduced, DCU. So yeah, that's my quick take. Back to you.
We're just gonna have to send you guys pack in, come back. We'll have a whole episode probably talking about the writer's strike. That's the hot ticket right now. And once we get PJ, we'll probably even talk about the Blue Beetle more because we both had a great time with it. PJ enjoyed it. He's sorry he can't be here right now. He's taking care of his little sick cat. So let's all send some love to PJ and his little gatito. And we'll be back. Peace.
Well, everyone, thank you for listening and watching. This has been Raul.
PJ.
We hope to see you with us again.
Come back for more.
Just come back.
Like, subscribe, do all that.